There's numbers ahead of time. Well, OpenTable seated globally 1.9 billion diners in partner restaurants last year.
Wow.
So the scale is huge.
It's massive, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it, and we're so excited to hear all about you and about OpenTable, and welcome.
Great to be here. Thanks very much.
Of course. So we usually like to start our chat with a little bit of a background about you and like how did you get into hospitality? What was your first job at hospitality like? What's your background? How did you get here?
Wow, there's a lot there. What's my background? How did I get here? Hospitality. I mean, my first job in hospitality, I guess, was working in a pub. I think most people have that as a background. Before the age, of course, when I was legally allowed to drink, regularly involved in illegal lockouts. This was back in the UK, which is where I'm from. But I've been in Australia for about 16 years now. And I was with Expedia for 14 years, the OTA, online travel agent. And it's funny, being on that side of the industry, we, in those days, called ourselves hospitality. It was like, travel, hospitality, tourism. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I came over to more F&B hospitality that I realised kind of ownership of the hospo kind of name. But I'd been with Expedia long enough that I realised, what's that thing, the ikigai, where the coming together of what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, and what you can get paid for, essentially. I was thinking about those things midway-ish, maybe, through my career. And I thought, I've been at the travel side of things for a while, and I don't want to be that 60-year-old that's trying to break into a new career a lot further down the line. So maybe now is about the time to change something, which I did, but I didn't want to change too much. I knew I was a good people person. I knew I was a decent communicator. I knew that I could lead teams fairly effectively and grow business. And I knew that I understood sales and account management. So what was interesting that was out there that was kind of adjacent to what I was doing, and that's where OpenTable popped up. Sorry,
what was your role like in Expedia?
It was an account management and sales role. So we would contract the hotels that would come onto the platform.
Did it include a lot of travel?
It did, yeah.
Okay.
A heck of a lot of travel. That was part of the reason as well, is that I was hoping to bring my travel a bit more domestic. I've got a young family, not wanting to be away from home as much, but there was a lot of travel, particularly into Asia at the time, because I led the part of the Asia Pacific region.
Okay, because I find that interesting, like travel in particular is pretty much a lot of people's dream job.
Yeah.
Myself
That's what they think until you start doing it.
I know, but like it's everyone loves to travel and like want to make a career out of it, and it's just interesting to see like what did you not like about it?
Oh God, when I first came to Australia, the job that I came for was to be market manager, so like account manager for the Pacific Islands. So all the things that you've just said and what people think about work travel, unfortunately I was the perfect stereotype of it. First week was in Fiji, third week was in French Polynesia, then I had to go to the Cook Islands. Like, it was tough. But it's not like that. If ever you've travelled for work, like particularly as you get a bit further and deeper into your career and perhaps get a little bit more senior, where your travel becomes dictated with requirements for pitching and presentations and dealing with the jet lag's not quite so easy. It is not that glamorous.
Not
at
a
all.
holiday.
No, far from it. Yeah,
you're just losing hours in your day.
Yeah, totally.
Being on planes, getting off planes.
Yep.
It's traveling is good if you're traveling.
Yeah.
For leisure, not for work. Yeah.
Well, even today, I left home in Sydney at about 7 a.m. On my way to the airport, flight was cancelled. Got to the airport, running half an hour late. Another flight cancelled, so it was about 8 hours in Sydney airport. It was kind of crazy.
Did you fly here for the podcast?
I've got I had a few things on in Melbourne, but as it turns out, it's just you guys. That's how important it was. But I'm off to the States tomorrow, so I've got all my big bag packed and everything.
Awesome. What are you doing there? Because that's where OpenTable headquarters is, right? 'Cause
That's
it started
right.
in California.
California,
Yeah,
San Francisco. So that's
Yeah.
where our HQ is. It's funny. The reason I'm going is we have an annual sales conference it's usually in North America somewhere around about this time of year, and it's in Houston this year. So I'm going over for that. But my best friend from school, I grew up in the kind of place in the UK where it's lovely and it's fine, but it's just fine. You move away.
Yeah.
So we
Where was
have
that?
scattered around the world. It's a place called Peterborough. There is a Peterborough on the coast down here. What's
Okay.
it called?
And is it north or south or?
It's in the East Midlands.
Okay.
It's about 100 k's north of London.
Right.
It's in the Fenlands, which means it's flat, very, very flat. It's got a very nice cathedral, if you're into that.
Beautiful.
Crap football team.
Nice.
That's about it. So a friend of mine moved to California. He met a Californian girl. So whenever I swing past the States now, we try and hang out for a few days first.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Beautiful. So Expedia, are they still around?
Oh yeah, very much
They
so.
are
I think.
beautiful.
They're big.
And
Well, the irony of that is that in the world of online travel agents, Expedia and Booking.com have traditionally been the biggest two, and OpenTable is in the Booking Holdings brand. It's owned by Booking Holdings, which also has Booking.com as part of its outfit. So I've kind of switched sides a little bit.
Right.
what like attracted you to OpenTable?
Well, there was the nature of the role. I could see that there was a very key fit, a clear fit compared to what I was currently doing. I think the thing that attracted me the most was you've got to be into what you're spending day to day on. I think I've got a very strong work ethic, but it's very hard to have that work ethic if you feel like it's a labour of love versus actually something you're genuinely passionate about. And even if you're not in hospitality, even if you've not been in the industry, we all know it. You could go out to anyone on the street and say, what's your favourite bar? And they'll just get jazzed up by the answer. And they'll get, what's your favourite dish? And they'll get passionate about it. If you go out and say, what's your favourite CRM system or email signing software, it's hard. It's a harder sell.
Yeah.
So my daily context is restaurants. Like when I go into the city, I'm going to some of the best restaurants in the world, really. And that just, like on a tougher day when things are harder, that helps a lot with perspective. That certainly drew me. I think the final thing that drew me was the opportunity for growth as well. I could see that OpenTable was a big brand globally, and we were really just starting to get the wheels turning in Australia, and I felt like I'd be the kind of person that could lead that.
When did you join?
2022, about 4 years ago, yeah.
But OpenTable was quite prominent at that time, I think.
Right, so
2022.
OpenTable is a brand globally, 1998.
Yeah.
First brand to ever take online reservations. Entered Australia around about 2015. I don't know if you will have heard of, but certainly maybe some listeners will remember ResPack. It was one of the OG legacy reservation taking systems, like in-house technology. That's how OpenTable entered the Australian market, was buying ResPack. At that stage, there was an entrance in the market trying to get product market fit for here, but it wasn't really until COVID came where, like with most businesses and most people, there was a bit of a transformation and change in approach for what we wanted to do here. So I joined not long after that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And in terms of the growth that you saw there as an option, you know what I mean, like as the forecasted growth, why do you think that there was so much opportunity for OpenTable? Because I actually thought they were quite popular at that time that you said that you joined.
Yeah, I think
there's always obviously room to grow. But,
Yeah, of course. I mean, when I'd worked for a US brand outside of the US for a long time, so that was another thing that not just attracted me, but I think made me a reasonable fit for this role, is that I understand the dynamics of, it's very easy to come in and write down your long list of things that will make you wildly successful, but nearly all of them are going to involve investment. Right. And that's coming from every part of the world to OpenTable HQ, and then they're going to stack rank the importance. So I think the thing that I noted is, like, if I could try and get one thing across the board that the exec team could understand about Australia that was vitally different from the rest of the world, is that the market that we play in here, we have one unique strength, which is we're really the only large-sized reservation platform, as in from a diner point of view. You can go on OpenTable because we have two sides to the platform, right? the B2B for restaurants themselves, then the B2C for diners. We're really the only ones that do that to any kind of scale in Australia. So it is a unique strength that we need to leverage. At the same time, all the competition that we have don't have that, so that the market has conditioned a restaurant and the industry to think, reservations are just about my own website and Google. So there's been an education piece of, no, there's a whole lot more, and there's a lot more growth that can happen for a restaurant from partnering with the likes of us, because we can actually bring new diners, not just keep helping recycle
How
old
do you
diners.
do that? How do you bring new diners?
Well, it's with the marketplace, so you can flip out your phone. I'm sure you've got the OpenTable app on your phone. As soon as I landed, for example, I got a ping from OpenTable saying here's 58 restaurants tonight that have a booking for 2 people for 7 p.m, that type of thing.
Wow.
Go in and explore. So it's a discovery platform.
Yeah.
And the key difference to the likes of Google, let's say, is that there's a few things there. There's a full set of features in terms of you can book experiences on it as well. So there might be special nights, special menus. All of the seating and the times is integrated directly into reservations systems of the restaurants themselves. But the key thing too is that reviews is built into the system as well. And the reviews that are on there are verified by the restaurants, diners that have eaten at these restaurants. So when we say, these are the best 10 restaurants in Melbourne, for example, by rating, that holds a lot of weight, because we're talking about millions of reviews over time from people that have actually sat in there and dined.
Yeah.
And how are you, since 2022 to today, how are you finding the trend in the hospo industry so far?
I mean, it's been a tough period for the industry overall. I think we've seen higher levels of closures of business in this period than many periods in the past. Yet we're OpenTable still remain pretty optimistic because of a couple of things. Diners are still dining out. Our numbers show that for January, at least, of this year, diner numbers were up compared to the previous year. In Melbourne, it was higher than 20% up. So people are still going out, particularly for experience-led experiences and special days. Like, I just can't talk about it yet because of the timing, but Valentine's data's just come through, and it's pretty compelling to show that diner demand is still there. I also think this industry is incredibly regenerative. Whenever you see very, very sad when a restaurant or a venue closes down, I would say it's a 90% hit rate that what's going to go in its place is another restaurant. Another bunch of folks giving it another go. And of course, that can't just repeat ad infinitum. You can only survive in that area if you're going to be a bit more creative or innovative. I think it's a ridiculously creative and innovative industry. Like, how can we work against these costs that are going against us at the same time as delivering something for diners? So I think those two things, and possibly the increasing positive influence of AI in the industry, is why I think, despite us going through a pretty tough period over the last 2 or 3 years as an industry from an operator's perspective,
how is that happening, the AI influence on the industry?
Yeah, well, it's pretty rote, I think, at this stage to say AI can never take our jobs if we're front of house kind of workers. I mean, I think there's a few restaurants around the world that are taking it to extremes, but we all know
there's a couple of these robots somewhere in Melbourne that they're serving food.
That's right. And maybe there's some kind of play there, but that's really robotics and machines rather than AI that can actually help restaurants. There's a few things. For example, you were talking about the OpenTable app. You'll know the experience of, let's say you want to go to a clothing website or a PC retailer or something. Unless you type in the exact product name, you don't get results, or you get vague kind of results. You just want to type in, I want a laptop that can do this, 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 this. Of course, it's the same for dining. I want to go out, 2 people, it's a mate I've not seen for 5 years, so I want somewhere that's intimate and nostalgic and available at 8:30.
So it's a prompt you writing?
You could just type that into OpenTable now. It's called Concierge, is our product. And it will, natural language, read it all and come up with, these are the things that you need to be looking at.
So it's a prompt, it's not like a filter?
You could do either. You can go in and type, I know exactly that I want to go to Asker tonight. This is
Okay.
where I want to go.
Where?
Or Attica or wherever,
Attica,
Voudemont
yeah.
or Collingwood. Just type Collingwood in. But you
Okay.
can also prompt via natural language.
Okay.
And obviously that helps the conversion side of things. So from a restaurant's point of view, the AI is helping people turn from lookers into bookers. That's one way. Voice AI is obviously on the increase as well, as in, have you had the experience yet where you call up the restaurant and it's AI taking your booking? Have you had that experience?
I
Not yet.
never
don't
called
really
to
call.
book.
Yeah.
Right, well, yeah, we're in the world of online
I
bookers
don't
here.
even think how many people do call to book these
Yeah,
days.
I haven't called to book in a long time. Unless it's for something specific, you have like a question you need
Yep.
answered.
Is
Well-
that through OpenTable, like a part of it, or that's just like an extension?
Well, what we do is we integrate with voice AI partners. So you're saying you might call and say, I don't know, can my dog come along?
Yeah.
Because I can't quite find it online. The voice AI would be able to answer that. You know, they're pointed at all of the FAQ systems. Yes, you can. You have to sit in the courtyard, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
You can also make bookings as well. The accuracy rate is incredible. Kind of scarily, the quality scoring for AI is typically higher than for human interactions.
Right.
But I think the validation there for humans is it's because, yeah, I'm trying to serve people here who are right in front of me and the phone keeps ringing. So apologies if I sound a bit frustrated when I answer the phone.
Right.
And that's where voice AI can really kick in, out of hours, in service, concurrent calls, happening all at the same time. So there's another
How do
example
you-
of AI.
Yeah, you go.
How do you see the kind of trend? I mean, I think hospitality is like a human-led kind of an experience. Restaurants, bars, cafes, everything. And then the integration of more and more technology. How do you see, like, where does it end? Like, how much of the human element will always be a part of it? Like, how far do you think it will go? Because it was QR codes and now it's like there's AI everywhere, and like the booking system, people aren't calling anymore, and like that's all well and good, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think it might depend a little bit from concept to concept. Like QSR codes, if you went to Voudemont, for example, you'd probably be, hang on a minute,
Yeah,
this is not really in keeping
sure.
with the brand here. But you go down to the local QSR, then sure, that might be actually something. But taking away those variables, I think where it ends is that point that you're saying where the customer starts to feel a little distaste to the lack of human connection. We certainly as OpenTable don't want to be promoting or introducing technology that removes that human element of things. In fact, we have the exact opposite desire. A good example of that is that you can run OpenTable in-house on anything. You can run it on Android, on an app, on our app, or on a screen. But highest recommendation is an iPad. We want people to have an iPad so that when you come in front of house, the host is able to have a glance and speak to you versus let me look at this computer deck, over here, and there's a barrier in between. So there's two things there. One is how do we increase the level of hospitality by integrating with or providing tech that helps with efficiencies. But critically, what we really want to do as well is help you as a restaurateur understand your guest better. So if we know that Tyrone has been in here before and he's a big fan of Aperol Spritz, and we know we've got a special on, it's like, let me show you the table. Hey, by the way, Tyrone, we've got an Aperol Spritz special on. You should check these out. Potentially that's going to elicit feelings of like, well, they know me. I'm a local around here. And that's that human connection. But that comes from a lot of data connection and integration going on in the background.
Yeah.
That's where we sit with it.
So that's quite, I think what we're speaking about is quite customer focused, how I think OpenTable helps restaurants. In terms of, as a restaurant owner, what are the main benefits, you know what I mean, of working with something like yourself, like a technology partner?
Yeah, I mean, working with a technology partner at all versus pen and paper, I mean, it's fairly obvious, like the benefits of digitization. Not going crazy. A lot of redundancy in the system as well in terms of like data storage and security and everything. But working specifically with OpenTable, the way I think about it is that there's the table management system itself. Someone makes a booking, it lands into your system, maybe there's a recommendation, this is a table for 4, they should sit on table 12, you can move them around if you want. That kind of technology, we've been doing that for more than 25 years. So it's kind of perfected, but it also perhaps has a little bit of a ceiling of wow factor to it, because it just needs to work.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want too much going on there. It needs to work really, really well and be highly integrated. So come and work for OpenTable for the operational benefits that you're going to get from that, because there are some, sure, but the real uniqueness that OpenTable can offer, which at the heart of things is all restaurateurs need, is more bums in seats. We can actually bring and connect more diners into you as a restaurant than anyone else can, because we've got more demand channels, including our own marketplace.
How many people are on the platform?
There's numbers ahead of time.
Pardon?
Well, OpenTable seated globally 1.9 billion diners in partner restaurants last year.
Wow.
So the scale is huge.
It's massive, yeah. Yeah.
I think that actually the thing to add to that as well is that we want to, if you're two restaurateurs sitting in front of me now and I say, right, we can incrementally, compared to anyone else you could work with, bring you a bunch more people who are going to be high spending into your venue because of our marketplace. We also know that people book in different ways. So we're going to enable people to book through Google. We've got an excellent integration there. We're going to enable people to book through your own website. We have an excellent booking widget there. But crucially, the philosophy that we have is that we want to partner with the best businesses as well to create new entry points into diner demand. So the new partnership we've got with Uber, for example, is a good example of that. They've got, I think, something like over 10 million rides a month, many millions of Uber One members as well. And what that does is put OpenTable partner restaurants in front of a highly valid and ready to book kind of audience as well. And it's a pretty unique proposition.
It's really cool.
Like leverage, basically.
Yeah, they're leveraging the platform.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you, with all the statistics that because you guys collect so much data, advice for, let's just say, Australian maybe hospitality brands going forward, moving forward, if they want to be more successful? Obviously, they should partner with OpenTable.
Step one.
Step one. What else should they be doing with trends that you're noticing?
I think understanding your data and working with people that can help connect your data is really important. That's another reason why our philosophy of partnership, I think, matters to restaurants. If you want to connect to a different CRM system or connect to a different loyalty partner, we're very likely to have that integration to enable you to do that, but not for the sake of it, so that you can understand your data and understand your customers that much better. And of course, the obvious endpoint of that is market and target your marketing in the right kind of way. So I think that's one thing, really know your customers. Advice for restaurateurs otherwise, I'm not going to give advice except to say that we see the highest levels of interest and spend happen when it's something that's outside the norm. Of course, you can't run something special. It's not the Bear, where it's a different menu every single day. You can't do that. You've got to have some economies of scale. But the types of things that we see with pop-ups, collabs, special events, special menus for the mid-market kind of restaurants, your steak nights, whatever it is that helps elevate and create a new experience for people, we see through our channels, because we have a lot of people coming and discovering that there is a lot of interest in that kind of area, and there's a willingness to spend in that area as well.
Wow.
You spoke about innovation as well in like restaurants and cafes and new businesses opening up.
Yeah.
How do you define that? Like, what does innovation look like for you in a new business or a business?
Yeah, it's funny. There's what is it? There's two types of innovation, right? There's actual incremental innovation, which is the sexy one that everyone talks about. It's Josh Nyland with his tip to tail fish kind of philosophy. It's Chelanu here in Melbourne with their crazy experience they have on table. There's very overt stuff that you guys, from a media point of view, can catch on and sell really well. I think that's important. That pushes the boat out and grabs attention. I think maintenance innovation is just as important, which is the things that you've just got to do, the boring stuff, maybe back of house to do with stock, supply, rostering. I think innovation in that space and finding efficiencies there, it just really matters, and I think it can often be ignored because it's not stuff that Broadsheet are going to report on. But if it's the difference between you being a viable business or not, then I think that's the most important area for restaurants to be looking right now.
I'd like to add to that. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but I thought it's innovative that there's this brand called Good Days. They're like a modern Vietnamese, you know, and I thought it's cool that they don't take any reservation. It's walk-ins only.
Yep.
And they're always pumped. And
Yeah.
I thought it's cool. Like they're a new, not so new. They've been around for a while, but in a world where it's all about bookings, I thought it's actually really cool that I could actually. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's funny though that we're in 2026 and it wasn't that long ago. I remember Chris Lucas with Chin Chin famously is like, we won't do bookings, because they had a similar thing. Their demand, their vibe, their punch was and still is so incredible. Now it's so normalised to the point that you finding it innovative that walk-ins.
Yeah.
I think what it is it's finding your angle, right? We know that every bakery, for example, that opens up, they want that line around the corner so they can get the guy with the iPhone to be going along it and sticking it on Instagram, because that stuff sells. People want to go to where the demand is. I think it's amazing. I think if you can make your business work from walk-in only, and you can get your rostering right and you can get your stock right, because it's predictable trade, then I think it's a heck of a hook to be selling on.
Beautiful.
It's almost like the things, it's whatever is against the norm of the time.
That's right.
It gets a bit of heat, can actually start to generate a bit of interest, because it's like everyone's taking bookings. This place isn't taking bookings, what? And then it's like some people start doing that, and then it's like, I just want to be able to book online. You know what I mean?
That's right. I think
it'll go the opposite way. The counterculture always becomes cool.
Yeah, I think Maison Bertard that opened about a year ago, famously, I think they've got like 120-page wine list. So they're very deliberately kind of in your face and maximised and over the top in a wonderful way. And then you've got a lot of restaurants like Bistecca in Sydney is one dish. It's steak frites. They take your phone off you on the way in. It's very minimalist. So to your point, going to extremes creates interest. It builds brand.
We're launching this restaurant. It's called Frenchie, and they're doing $14 everything on the menu, like steak, duck, everything, like champagne, caviar bombs, and they're gone viral. They're like killing it right now. Yeah,
I forget.
Literally.
Yeah, I forget the venue. There's one in Melbourne that every bottle of wine is $70. 70.
Yeah.
So you can literally go into the Somme and say, this is what I want, and you know they're not going to be pushing you into a price point. Yeah. So in some cases you might be paying 70 for a 58, but you also might be paying 70 for a 90 or 100. Yeah.
And do you think, is there a chance that like new venues can open and just have nice food and still do well, or do you think this trend is kind of like dying a little bit, like to just have a restaurant and, you know, sell pizza and I don't know.
Can restaurants just do good food and thrive? Yes, there's hundreds of examples. I think Melbourne is one of the capitals of the world for quality speaks. It doesn't necessarily need media backing or spruiking to really get the interest, because Melbourneites eat out probably more on average per head than anyone else around the world. So you've got that, but at the same time, the cost of doing that compared to what it has in the past and the margin that you achieve is less than it ever has been before. So there are less restaurants that have been making that work. What I'm saying from earlier, though, is that we've got this optimism that there's this new wave of restaurants that are being more innovative and being more efficient, such that we will continue to see good restaurants doing bloody good food and thriving and surviving.
I think it's a combination, right? Like, I think people that are doing good food, and I mean service also is important too, not mention service, both of those things, they will actually have a good business if it actually is good. But the places with that extra level of selling point, that extra attraction, they will do even better if they also have the night. If they're serving shit, they're most likely not going to actually be doing that well long term. But you know, if they can combine those two things, then that's where it really comes from. So, you know, if you're thinking about opening something, you should think about you're going to you either got to nail one of those two things. Like if you're not 100% on your food offering or like a gimmick or something, you're not going to be able to succeed.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, you can have all the branding in the world, but if the service and food don't stack up, then it's not going to work. What we have also seen, no, not we, I'll speak for myself here. What I have seen over time as well is that a lot of restaurants do one venue incredibly well. Challenges can happen when they look to repeat that concept elsewhere, particularly if it's a strong owner-founder, chef kind of concept, because they're literally having to split time. And that can be damaging for both restaurants. We like to be able to manage and account manage such that we recognise the differences in groups and individual restaurants as well, and provide that kind of support and optimisation so that they're staying in the field as much as they can.
What are your thoughts? I'm just gonna change the conversation a little bit. What are your thoughts about the Michelin star coming to Australia and like the whole drama?
Drama? I don't know about drama. It's interesting, isn't it? I thought it was very fun that New Zealand have ended up with it as a cheeky little elbow in the ribs to its western neighbour. The review setup that we have here is pretty powerful from an ownership and organisation perspective. So I'm not surprised that it's not just a straightforward walk in. I think what I don't fall on either side of the fence. I can't. I think what I would like to have seen is probably better recognition from the industry as a whole and those supporting the industry, so government, for example, as to the need to actually promote Australian food tourism more. Just more money, more budget, more spending. We partner with ARCA, so Wes Lambert's Australian Restaurants and Cafes Association, and they're lobbying government all the time to say, hey, hospitality matters. So, for example, the new public holiday that's just been brought in for Anzac Day, it's a great thing, except for if you're a restaurant, you often don't make any money or very, very little money on a public holiday, and you're having to pull in the front of house staff. So it's thinking about the hospitality industry far more clearly and investing in it more. And I think what the Michelin situation has shown us, if anything, is that I think there's more that we can do as a country. If it's not going to be via a global awards partner, there's more we can do to say we have some of the best restaurant offerings in the world here. How do we get more people to know that and understand that?
So are you guys working with Asia as well?
We have operations in Asia, yeah.
So it's under one roof?
In what sense?
Like Australia and Asia, or like they're two different things?
So I run the Australian region. We also have my equivalent who runs the Asia specific region, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just was in Asia for a few weeks, and I noticed, honestly, how everyone says Asia is cheaper, but it's not. And it's interesting how the world is kind of all balancing Australia, Asia, all the same.
Yep.
And they do have the Michelin, and we don't. And I just don't know.
Yeah, there are reports of as soon as someone gets a star, profits, revenues bump up by a certain amount. It is still a little bit of a case of haves and have-nots. We were just talking about, we didn't put words to it in this way, but we were essentially just talking about, what about your good standard restaurant that just has bloody good food and good service? They're not going to win Michelin stars. They don't need to. So it's not going to benefit absolutely everyone. That would be my concern for it, whether it's another layer on top that's necessary to promote just the overall offering that we have. So Food and Wine Victoria, and specifically Melbourne Food Festival, we're strong partners of theirs as well. The types of things they do, where they're not just looking at who are the iconic restaurants and let's give them their fair dues because they bloody well deserve it, they're on the global map. But at the same time, who are the best farmers that are helping bring in the best quality pork into the industry, or whatever that might be? I think we love that angle of things because we think the whole industry, and we know the whole industry is a pyramid that goes all the way down to those grassroots kind of levels.
How do you guys get involved with the community and promoting the community? And
Yeah, well, this was actually another thing that attracted me to the OpenTable role is that travel, I mean, it's maybe a little bit obvious to say, but travel broadens the mind. We all know that when you go around the world, you see things in a different way. I think very, very closely related to that is cuisine types. It's different food types. If you stretch out of your norm and understand that this funny food that's sitting on the plate that you haven't seen before is actually delicious and actually culturally important to another set of people, then you gain perspective and positive things happen. So we think that if we're going to be playing this role in the industry where we're investing time, money, people, resource, that we should care about all levels, not just the internal metrics that we look at. So it's not just about partnering with individual restaurants. I mentioned Melbourne Food and Wine, I mentioned ARCA from a government lobby point of view. We work with the likes of SCARF as well, if you know
SCARF,
Hannah and the guys there. Obviously supporting immigrant workers to train up and become chefs. We work with Bianca and the All Things Equal cafe, where they're supporting workers with disabilities. We believe in all those kind of levels because it helps what builds and unites the industry overall.
And what do you think is cooler, the Melbourne or the Sydney?
I knew you were going to come up with that. Well, I have a little bit of a benefit of not growing up in either. I've always said between Melbourne and Sydney, Melbourne's a bit more European feel. I can say that in a very qualified kind of way. You can wander around and sometimes it feels like you're going through a Roman plaza, you're going down laneways. That's got its cuteness and its style, and I love it. What Sydney's probably, in my mind, got a bit more of is the icons. It's sad that I think Key Restaurant's last service was a couple of days ago.
On the harbour.
Yeah, when you think of the view, that is unparalleled. It's not the only one that's got that view. There's some other amazing restaurants there. So I think Sydney's got the icons and the quality of food. Melbourne's got a little bit more of that European cool.
But which one do you like?
Quite diplomatic, wasn't it, that answer?
Which one do you like?
So diplomatic. He won't say it. He's good. He's media trained, this guy.
I'm not allowed to say it. Brisbane.
That's such shade to Brisbane because it's like we're laughing about it.
No, don't sleep on Brisbane. With the Olympics coming up, there's a heck of a lot going on there.
What about differences between where you grew up, the UK and Australian cuisine, food, things like that? You guys have some really beautiful restaurants.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Funny that the time that I left the UK, I definitely wasn't at an age or stage of my life where I was spending much money on restaurants. So it's only since I've moved away that I go back and experience that a little bit, which I did recently. Michelin-starred pub in the middle of Lincolnshire where we had pheasant and locally shot partridge and all of these.
Amazing.
Yeah, beautiful food. It's incredible. But the thing growing up in England for me is that it's similar to Australia. There is no English cuisine.
Yeah.
You can argue it, and it's a fun argument to have. There is no Australian cuisine in the same way. There's high levels of...
I'm going to have to take a quick break.
What are we talking about?
Back into it. UK cuisine and Australia.
Yeah, so no specific cuisine that identifies the UK. Fish and chips, maybe, but Australia might own that.
How many different ways can you do it?
Yeah, but the one thing,
English breakfast.
Yeah. The one thing though that I loved about the UK was the influence of Indian food, Indian spices, Indian cuisine in general. I learnt recently that it's predominantly actually Bangladeshi cuisine, but similar in nature.
Yeah.
And I have an absolute love of that. So originally, when I moved to Australia, I was actually quite disappointed because I wasn't seeing many quality Indian cuisines. It's not as popular a cuisine here. You get a little bit more of the Southeast Asian cuisines that are popular here, but I think it's coming. There's a few things. Entivire Laundry is
it's moving for sure.
It is, yeah. It's good. We have a local one near where I live that me and my daughter like to go to. So Indian cuisine would be my favourite, and I think that's what I pine for. Whenever I go back to the UK, it's like I need a good curry.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What do you back to the topic of the Australian government helping out hospitality? What changes would you like to see? Like, how could they support the industry more? What could they actually do? Like, what's a tangible thing that you think that could assist them?
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind. There's a couple of local level, as in state level, incentives toward technology that the governments have put in place, because there is still... The world is moving online, of course, but there is still, of the, let's say, 20,000 venues that are in Australia, there's still a large number of those that are not really on any level of digitization,
Yeah.
which is fine because they're known by the people that know them, but we also know that we're in an era of discovery. So if you don't have a website, maybe that's fine, but you've certainly got to have some sort of profile, Instagram, TikTok, etc. So I think there's something more that the government could do there to help the country digitize in that mid to lower end of the market.
Okay.
But then I think from a leading lights perspective, there's a little bit of navel gazing goes on in industry. We all know the champions of industry. Everyone in Melbourne's heard of Chris Lucas, Andrew McConnell, these kind of folks. Sydney's got his equivalents as well, Josh Nyland, etc. But I don't think we've thought of them as exports yet, or at least exportable brands. Not to send them outside, but to use them as the icons to actually draw interest in. And that just doesn't happen with one, pay-per-click kind of campaign. I think that happens with Tourism Australia coming aligned with the government and actually putting something together that focuses on not just the incredible beauty that we have in flora and fauna in this country, but how food and drink sits alongside that.
Okay.
I think there's been a gap for quite some time here.
So what would that potentially look like?
It could be
So you say you want to spotlight these places as landmarks. We know them as icons. How do you translate that to people that are...
If it was my job tomorrow and I worked for the government / Tourism Australia, I would say, right, send me in a party of people over to the US. We're going to pitch them Australia.
Okay.
I'm going to have in tow with me Josh Nyland, Andrew McConnell, Chris Lucas, etc.
Yeah.
And the state governments. And this is why you need to send people over here. This is why it's good for your country. It's going to increase this. I think the world just needs to know that we have what we have here. And I think at the moment, when you're in the industry in Australia, we can pat ourselves on the back and know that, nod, nod, wink, wink, we know the best places to have meals. Right. But we need to increase the global visibility of that.
Right. It's almost like we like keeping it low-key too much, in a way. Like, that's a trend here. Like, you want to be like if type of a place. We like to be...
Which is particularly a Melbourne thing.
Which is very, that vibe.
Yeah,
but we need to make it a bit...
Yeah, it's almost like I do have a favourite restaurant, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
It doesn't work at a scale.
Which country does it like well, in your opinion?
I mean, in my time in Europe, I think France and Italy are probably the best at it. They're not just selling... I mean, Paris is a really good example. It's got some incredible landmarks, but it sits alongside its cuisine and its food offerings in a really good way. I think Denmark, like smoky there, like Copenhagen, where did that come from? It's now a destination of the world from a food point of view. And they've really exported that theory and leaned hard on it.
Bloody hell, though, Australia is a bit too far.
That's the issue, isn't it? Yeah.
But that's the thing. You package it up as a trip of a lifetime. Yeah. Maybe you'll stay and live here.
Also, if you get approached by Tourism Australia now for a new role, we know where it came from, right? This is a little soft launch of Bruce Korea.
Finest speed.
Into tourism.
Yeah.
Nah, would you go back into travel and tourism?
Would I go back?
Yeah.
I'd never say never to anything. I'm absolutely in love right now, though. I think I'm in the most privileged role, position, company, life stage that I could be in. I'm not looking for any changes at the moment.
How about you as a leader? Like, what are your kind of philosophies as a leader? Because you've been in leadership roles for a long time, right?
Yeah.
What do you think makes a good leader?
Oh, geez, it's hard. I think the biggest thing for me is understanding that leadership is not any kind of destination. You certainly don't do a training course that then you're finished. Sorry. We've got dogs snorting outside.
Like coughing out the door. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
There's no training course that you can take that makes you proficient in being a leader. It's a practice. It's 100% a practice. So with that comes the humility and the vulnerability to know that you're constantly going to get stuff wrong.
Yeah.
All the time. If you can't get your head over that, I don't think you will ever take that leadership journey. And I think I was lucky to have some very direct and powerful mentorship kind of voices early in my career to not let me get ahead of myself. But in terms of how I like to lead, I mean, us three could come up with a strategy, maybe the one we were just talking about, on a piece of paper right now, and I'm sure it would look really good and we'd feel really good about ourselves. You can probably pitch it to some investors, get some seeding on it. It's a piece of paper, though. That piece of paper doesn't go out there, walk the streets, have work ethic, influence people, build relationships. That stuff comes from humans. Humans are what execute. We are still the executing machine. AI is doing a lot. It's humans prompting. It's humans creating. And the reason I'm saying that is because you've got to connect with people in the way that people want to be connected with, which is that people want to be seen. They want to know that they are understood and that they're heard. So there's different types of power, right? You've got power over someone, or you can provide power with someone. There's a type of power that I try for, which is more referent power. I want people to feel like they want to work hard in my organisation because they have a respect for me. Can I get results by cracking a whip? Any leader can for about that long. And then you'll have constant churn and constant attrition because people just don't want to be there. You're not speaking to them and seeing, what they really want in life. So it's human first to make the strategy on paper work.
Okay.
How do you face, criticism as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, that certainly comes with the territory as well. I'll be honest, that's something that I, with my English sensitivity, probably struggled with early in my career. Personalised too much. I think the more that you travel the leadership path, but also I think becoming a parent changes this as well. Where you got, what's going on now? The roof's falling down.
This is a ghost.
We've got dogs attacking, poltergeist stuff.
Nah, that painting has fallen before.
Yeah, it's the paint.
And I heard a sound. Anyway, this is a good podcast room. Let's not worry about dogs and paintings,
That's
alright?
safe. We got
Yeah, as long as the dogs are
we got the guard here. Yeah.
I've forgotten where I was.
You were saying that you struggled to face criticism
Yeah,
Early
in
days of
career.
leadership.
But
all that.
it's one of those things that, again, you don't learn it until it's an exposure therapy thing. The more you take your knocks and you feel the internal churn from it, I think there's probably a spectrum, but one of two extremes that you can have there. One is you go into your shell and think, this leadership thing or this scene.
Jesus.
Well, there goes the paint.
I told you. It's all right.
Did it break anything?
I told you.
We're okay.
It was on the floor, and Billy's like, I was like, it keeps falling. He's like, should we put it up? I was like, just put it up. We'll see what happens.
Oh, the dog didn't like it.
Anyway, so you struggle with facing the criticism.
That's embarrassing.
But you get over it once you've faced it a few times.
Or you don't. I think you meet the fork in the road, and
Yeah.
you do get desensitized and conditioned. It's leadership, again, like parenting. There's so many parallels. You end up with battle scars, if nothing else. And I think that prepares you for being able to walk forward. So I know that every day is going to have some crap stuff in it. I know that. Embrace it, because I also know that that's the stripes that you earn to then enjoy the better stuff.
For sure.
Are you the kind of person that can actually shut down after work, or are you constantly working?
Yeah, it's a challenge. That is a challenge, particularly working for a global company where hours can be quite flexible. There's two sides to that. It means that I'm nearly always, when I'm in Sydney, I'm nearly always home for family dinner. It's an important moment, like food, uniting people together. It's an important moment. It might mean I need to jump back on an evening as well. Switching off outside of that, at weekends, I've got so much better with that. You don't have much choice if you're keeping yourself busy. Like, we've just moved house and kids have got activities left, right and centre. So I think, again, that's something I struggled with early in the career, but now it's okay.
Just got to
I can tell
compartmentalize.
Drew is the type of guy that will just work.
He's locked in.
He'll just lock
He's
in.
locked in. I can feel this guy is so locked
He's
in.
locked
Yeah.
in.
I know.
Beautiful. And
But that's how you become a
what are
GM.
you mostly excited about?
With work,
everything.
Everything.
I'm genuinely excited about, what I was saying before about Australia being on the map. I don't want that to come across as nobody knows about restaurants in Australia. Of course, we have some incredibly exportable brands and restaurants. We also have chefs that have gone around the world and are getting Michelin stars and the like. So it's certainly not that there's a massive gap there, but I'm excited about us as a country genuinely taking a bigger step there, and not just for any given restaurant helping them grow their portion of the pie, but helping grow the pie itself. And the reason I mention that is that, let's say us three, I know you won't invite me, so it's okay, but let's say us three were going to hang out after this.
All right.
We're like, what should we do? It's like, well, we'll go to the pub for a drink, or
I'll go
I don't know, let's
steak
go
night.
play darts, or go bowling, or, there's an activity, something fun to do, a park run, or let's go for dinner. It's discretionary spend. It's a discretionary choice that you make to go out. And I think that we've got an opportunity to increase frequency. And I think with that comes, build the global brand and the global business. I think we can grow hospitality into an absolute powerhouse here, and it's absolutely, we want to be in the middle of all that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Excited by that.
Do you think, I feel like the industry is kind of filtering a lot lately. Do you feel that? Like,
what's it filtering?
I don't know, filtering, if you're not doing anything, you're not going to do well. It doesn't, like there is a lot of competition going on. And if you're not doing something right, you're just going to be like filtered out.
Yeah, I know you're the ones with the questions at the moment, but I'll ask you a question. I wonder if that is parallel to social, the life that we live through a social lens these days anyway, because it feels like I see that with people too. If I'm not doing something, if I'm not presenting in any kind of way, maybe forcing a level of extrovertism, that's a word, extroversion, then I'm going to be filtered out, and that's a negative thing. I think in hospitality, it doesn't have to be the thing. We just said there's different ways to build your brand. A lot of brands are built via digital and social and doing things. There is so many, hundreds and hundreds of restaurants in Australia, and there'd be many around us where you wouldn't actually think they'd have a social presence at all, perhaps, but they're pumping because they're bloody good food, bloody good service, they know their customers, they relate to them. So I understand almost the anxiety at a corporation kind of level of like, we've got to do something. But they're ultimately there to serve people and make money, keep the business alive. And I think there's a lot that are doing that successfully.
I think maybe the play should not be how can I do these million things that a lot of restaurant brands that are really popular are doing, but just focusing on doing the base things correctly first and then considering broadening your efforts. Because I feel like so many people, they're trying to come up with a crazy concept and they're trying to come up with this marketing thing and they're trying to come up with something that's going to be unique to them entirely, and also like their menu and like, but I think they might be sometimes spreading themselves a bit too thin.
Yeah, I think the best question to ask yourself as a business, I think even as a person maybe, is what do I do and what do I do well? Yeah. Because you can do anything. To your point, you could come up with a list of 20 things to do, but then that takes time away from probably the core thing that has always made you successful. So how do you strengthen your strengths even further, I think is the question to be asking.
Sure. What's the one thing that you guys do well?
At OpenTable?
Yeah.
I think bring revenue. We grow revenue for restaurants, alongside restaurants. I think it's fairly unique. The way we talk about it internally is that you can use technology to help manage operations. We partner with restaurants to provide technology to grow revenue. I think that's the key difference.
What do you like? What do you reckon is like a big challenge for you convincing a restaurant owner to use OpenTable?
Hospo folks are.
He's going to say cost.
I'm actually going to avoid that one because that's obvious, right?
That's the obvious answer.
That'd be if you're selling anything, that'll probably be your biggest challenge as well when you're trying to get your wares out there. Cost is going to be one thing. I think it's time. Hospo workers are so in the business. There's a shrinking amount of hospitality figureheads that are working on the business and that have time to fully go into. Maybe groups are different where they've got corporate HQ settings, but certainly onesies, twosies. Even if they're incredibly good operations, they're so in the business, it can be very difficult for them to devote time to be thinking about what's right for the business down the line. Part of that is because they're only operating what's in front of their face. It's like, I've got Valentine's coming up, and then it's Easter around the corner, and then it's Mother's Day around the corner.
And like Lunar New Year and Valentine, like back to back, and we
girlfriend's birthdays and all sorts.
We face it all the time because we're like obviously like a marketing agency, and like that's what we do basically. We're just trying to push all these events out to our clients, and like Valentine post, Lunar New Year post, Easter's coming, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Siblings Day. It's like constantly like it's so hectic. We get honestly sometimes client, they just don't answer for days, and we're like, it's so hectic.
Large part of the time is that because a chef is not a vocational thing where you've learnt a technique and then you're just out. Chef's a creative expression. It's in service to others, absolutely, but it's absolutely a personal creative expression. That means you've got high levels of creativity. That means that you've got very few chefs that, as they build up a brand and a business, want to step away. Maybe they want to step away from the hours, so they shrink things down and become executive chefs, for example. But otherwise, they're still in on the business. Then when you think about making a marketing decision, they want to know that because they're the creatives. They're like, how's my brand going to be portrayed?
Yeah.
Don't make a decision without me.
Yeah.
So you've got that tension of not much time to put to it, but it being something that they want to be involved in.
Yeah.
The ones that can make that work move forward quicker, I would say. But yeah, that's probably our biggest challenge is getting time.
What are your thoughts on marketing for restaurants and cafes, and like how do you see that playing in the future with like the oversaturation of social media right now?
Yeah, it's a funny one. It does play into what you were mentioning before about we've got to be doing something. If we're not doing something, we're staying still. I think there is the other good question to be asking yourself, again, as an individual, but certainly as a business, is what can we do well on our own? What is outside of our area of expertise that if it goes wrong, could go really wrong, or if it doesn't get maximized, could be a deal breaker for me? That's things like, I think, tech stacks. Like, someone please come and help me understand my tech stack. So that might be a hospo consultant. And we're certainly seeing more of those getting involved in the industry and adding value. I think it's true on the marketing side for a lot as well. It's like, if you recognize, well, I'm in service nearly all the time. I know I'm giving out bloody good food. I know it's a really good service. I know I've got regulars. I'm not really bringing many new diners though. What do I need to do? I don't have time to decide. That might be the point where it's a case of, I'm going to give the guys at Harter a call and say, can you run your rule over this and make a recommendation? So that understanding what you should do versus what you outsource is critical.
What we are going to do, we're going to go and cut that and make an ad out of it.
Obviously.
It's true though, right? Like you guys know what you're doing and you've got all of the experience and the efficiencies for it.
That's honestly a great way.
That is what I actually say to people when I'm onboarding them. I'm like, okay, look, like first I want to find out like what their revenue is so I can tell if they're actually doing okay or not. And then if they are doing okay, it's like, well, I have the full confidence that we can get people to go through the door of your restaurant that haven't been there before.
Yeah.
But you need to do the heavy lifting, obviously, of making sure they come back. That's the second part of it. But yeah, what you're saying is true. It's one of those moments where you have to think, well, what am I already doing well, and then like just hone that, and then how can I be better, and just find like an expert that can do it like us or like.
And there's a leap of faith, of course, because that's the other thing. If it's something that you don't do well or you don't have time for, or you're just not familiar with, maybe you don't know. That also makes it harder to spend money on in ways because like, am I being overcharged for this? Because I don't really know. I don't know the space, so it just causes a little bit of hesitation. Perhaps.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And the good thing is like when people try it, like. And they see a little bit of results, they're like, holy shit.
They love it, yeah.
You know, they stay because it's their money is basically just like...
Yeah. It's working for them.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is true, because a lot of people, they might come to us because they just have heard they need marketing. Like they've had a conversation like this, but they don't understand it. They're not like on social media a lot. They don't like follow restaurants that are doing it well or whatever. And then they come to us and then we... run them through the pitch deck and like how much it'll cost and everything, and they're just like so surprised. They don't actually fully understand the level of work that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, right.
So, other than setting up your new clients, new restaurant come to you, they want to work with you. Other than like setting them up with the booking platform and, whatever you guys do to onboard them, do you also give them any like sort of not a strategy, but like an audit or like, like a bit of a consultancy to boost their business, or that's out of your...
Well, an overall like hospitality consultancy, no. So on one hand, no. Like we're not in an appropriate position to say you should be using this point of sale or you need to use that marketing agency, because we're not the experts in that area. The reality is though that we become trusted advisors because we are helping optimize their books. So the table plan and the table combinations and the turn times and the pacing and the flows, my team are experts at doing that. It's genuinely a case of let us sit with you for an hour, optimize that, and you are going to make thousands of dollars more a month. Okay. So being in that position means you get that trusted advisor kind of status. That means you do get questions saying, I'm being told I need marketing, like, what do you do? So in those positions, we might say, we've seen others get results with these kind of folks, or in your position, we've seen someone else do that.
Yeah, I think I feel like it's a bit of a sensitive like topic, telling people, oh, you know what, my platform is going to make you more money, because you know, they're coming with all these expectations. Because sometimes, honestly, like, shit doesn't work. It's normal. Like, sometimes the food is not good, you know, but they can't see that.
Sure.
How do you guys deal with that, like, approach?
Where we end up not being a great fit, you mean?
No, more like promising that we're going to
yeah.
make you more money.
Yeah, I mean...
Not we're going to make you, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, you can't promise it. You also don't know how in service they're going to use the system. They might use it in ways that are counterintuitive, and perhaps they're not optimizing. So ultimately their fate's in their own hands with that kind of stuff. We would never use the language of, we promise you that you will do this.
Course,
But what we can do, of course, is use the millions of data points from all of the restaurants that do use us and perhaps have used a different provider beforehand to show the kind of uplifts and impacts that they've had.
Could potentially have.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Beautiful.
If you were going to quit your job
Yeah,
and open a hospitality venue,
yeah.
what would it be?
That is
What would you
so
serve?
funny, because I was talking about this. I mentioned to you earlier that it was my wife's birthday yesterday. We were talking about this because my son, I mentioned to you as well that my daughter loves Indian food too. Like, we have that special thing. We go out there and do that. My son likes food, but at the moment, he's 7. At the moment, he doesn't really like spices. He finds barbecue sauce spicy.
Right.
So he's at that kind of end of the
Cute.
scale. But we went to, talking about travel and everything opening your mind, we were in France about a year and a half ago. And this dish came out, and I really wanted to get frog's legs. I love frog's legs. We used to go to France a lot when I was a kid. So all of the escargot, the frog's legs, rabbits, all of those kind of things, I love it. And he was eating them happily. We shared this massive bowl of frog's legs. So he's been saying to me ever since, like, Daddy, I want to go and eat some frog's legs in a French restaurant with you. But due to a couple of reasons, there's not really any restaurants in Australia that can make it commercially viable to sell frog's legs. And then I thought, well, we could just go to a French restaurant. And I know that I'm going to get people pointing out to me after I say this. It's like, no, you're missing out on this restaurant over here. So I'll be glad of those recommendations. But what I see at the moment is that French as a cuisine is so tightly related with fine dining. And a level of service and expense and accessibility, and rightly so. Like, it lends itself well to that.
Yeah.
So if I was to open a venue, it would be some version of an accessible French style cuisine, but a bit more bistro, certainly not QSR, but a bit more relaxed kind of vibes, where people can try brand new stuff at a very kind of entry level, almost tapas style, small things, and
Sounds
it'll
like
be French.
About to say,
You gotta check out Frenchie.
Okay, I'll check out Frenchie.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're not gonna sell the escargot, but
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're not open yet. They'll be open soon.
Okay. All right.
Maybe we should get them to OpenTable as well.
There we go.
There you go, make it happen. No, that's awesome. We've got a few fun questions to ask you. I feel like, I'll ask you this anyway. If you had to take a guest to one Melbourne restaurant or place, where are you taking them?
I like that, because if you ask me what my favourite restaurant is, I don't think I'd be allowed to answer.
No, we didn't.
But if I was
wanna ask
taking
that,
a guest to a Melbourne restaurant, and money's no expense, Liho Fook, I think you've had Victor on this podcast,
my
haven't
God,
you?
Jesus,
So,
that's
I'm not going
cool.
to say Liho Fook because I do have another one, but if I was to have one dish at a restaurant, his eggplant thingamies.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The fried one. So good.
Unreal.
Can we announce
Absolutely.
it?
The whole
unreal.
thing is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The whole restaurant is like,
An
it's one of the best
incredible
restaurants
experience.
that I've ever been to.
And they've got like
awesome.
tea pairing as well.
Yeah.
Let's Liho Fook. I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
hear
go for
something
it.
crazy. I think we can announce it because we're not gonna post this in a
Immediately.
while.
Yeah.
We actually just got the okay from Victor today to work with them.
Fantastic! Look at that.
Today, which
Yeah,
is
we're
a
partnering with
huge
them.
milestone
Yeah.
for us. Yeah.
Who you partner with, and actually
We do.
Askar, who you also partner
That's
with.
right, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a meeting
Today,
with them today.
an
Yeah.
incredible day for us.
Fantastic! Look at that.
Because we don't have a lot of like hatted restaurants, so two hats, Lehofook institutions. So for us, it's like
Yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff with Victor. You know, I mentioned the Uber program before. So part of that partnership we've got with Uber is an exclusive tables program. So they're holding back inventory amongst many other restaurants in Melbourne and Sydney, the likes of Yaga, Vidmond, Attica, Cut Wine Room, all like places very difficult to get peak bookings in. So yeah, we're working with Victor on that, so you can get bookings. It's great to hear you're doing that too.
beautiful, man.
Yeah.
But good choice. I also would take, if someone was just coming and they were just in Melbourne, I would take them there.
Lehofook, man.
But you
The
also get the,
mushroom bao.
the laneway experience is there as
It's
well.
so good. It's just so yummy, all the food there.
Have you had the mushroom bao?
The choux pastry, mushroom.
Don't remember
dish.
having the mushroom. No.
It's
There's
unreal,
nothing
that
like
thing.
it.
Yeah,
I want to go and have some tonight.
yeah.
What about Sydney?
In Sydney, if I'm going to one place, oh boy, the meal I had at St. Peter last year, we're talking like highest end of the market.
So that's three hatted.
3 hatted.
Yeah.
All of the awards. So it's not exactly, it's an obvious choice perhaps,
Yeah.
but they deserve every single piece of recognition.
Yeah, I'm
What
keen
they
to
do
go and
is
try it.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they win the Restaurant of the Year by the Good Food Guide? No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Gourmet Traveller
Yeah.
Restaurant of the Year, yeah.
Yeah.
3 hats. The only restaurant in Australia in the world's top 100 at the moment, I think.
Yeah, incredible.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's in the top 100 in the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
Wasn't Gimlet in there? A couple of years ago, maybe.
It was at one point, yeah.
Yeah,
There's been
yeah.
a few that have been around.
What's your go-to pub meal?
When I first came to Australia, the concept of a schnitty was a little bit new to me, and I didn't understand why it was such a staple. But then there's
grows
just
on you.
nothing to not like about a schnitty.
Yeah,
Probably that.
beautiful. Where's your favourite schnitty from?
What pub?
Yeah.
Well, I've just moved actually. I live in northwest Sydney, so this is like proper suburban. But
Right.
the Kings Park Tavern do an incredibly good schnitty. Me and my kids joke, it's as big as my face.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that matters with the schnitty.
Yeah.
It does.
If you feel like a schnitty in Melbourne, Marquis of Lawn, just
Oh,
around
malls.
here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
so
gorgeous.
good.
Yep. What about
Beautiful. And what's a red flag you notice the second you walk into a new venue or a venue?
Eye contact, human interaction.
Okay.
I know that restaurants are busy. I think this is true of any retail, but if the restaurant doesn't have the ability to serve straight away, it goes such a long way to make eye contact and say, "Give me a second," type of thing. Flip that in reverse. Like if you've got someone there that actually makes a human connection with you, how's your day? Anything that feels genuine. We know that the food ends up tasting better. I think scientists have actually
I
proved
actually
this. That
agree,
the
yeah.
better you feel, the more. So if you flip that round and you have the opposite, where you feel like you're actually having to grab people's attention, I very rarely experienced that in Australia, but that's a red flag.
If you could delete one dining trend from 2026 forever, what would it be?
Matcha.
Hell yeah. I respect you for that answer.
I think that was
Matcha's so
mentioned
shit.
at the event you guys came to. I'm all about that. I don't get it.
You did say that actually at the event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matcha's so shit.
Cocktail or a cold pint?
Oh, I've had a changing relationship with beer, but do you know what? I've started drinking. The answer is going to be a cold pint. I can't get away from my history and my heritage. But do you know what I've started having recently on the non-alcoholic side? Because you've got non-alcoholic beers that there's a number of really good ones.
Yeah.
There's now hop-flavoured sparkling water. 0 calories, 0 everything. It tastes like a very cool.
Like this
fresh
one you
beer.
mean, or?
No. Hop-flavoured.
Ah.
It tastes
Tastes like
like
hops. It's
a
like
lager.
Latin beer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. So on the non-alcoholic side, I go that way. Otherwise, it's a pint.
A
Yeah.
pint.
It is for sure.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, guys.
You go for that question.
Which one? Oh my god.
You
I
forgot
almost
about
forgot about it. Gee.
I'm nervous
It's been
now.
a long time. If you could, is it have a meal?
Collaborate.
Collab.
Yeah.
See? If you could collab with anyone, dead or alive, it could be a brand, it can be a person, it could be like Michael Jordan, it could be Nike, it could be anything. who would it be and why?
If I could collab with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
You could collab personally. Like if it's someone that you love, that's like a
Aside
musician or
from
something.
Heart Media.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Which
keep
is
it.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'll keep it in food,
Yeah.
and I'll keep it in my home country. I mentioned a few times over the past while about the optimism that we have as a business about Australian hospitality. I think there's a lot of people that sit in and on the industry that succeed through negativity, unfortunately. But there's one person that I think whenever he is involved in anything, his optimism, his positivity, his energy is so infectious, is Jamie Oliver.
Bang. And you're
Yeah.
going to say that. So
Love
cool.
to be involved in something directly with him. Yeah.
He's such a legend. We actually had a guest on recently who worked recently with Jamie Oliver, basically saved her life, actually.
Right. Yes.
Nat, you know
Yeah.
Nat
Yes.
from
Yeah.
MasterChef.
Did you
Yeah.
listen to that podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, how
Absolutely,
crazy
yeah.
was it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I can't believe he just sounds like such a good dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would love to
Good human. Yeah.
grab a non-alcoholic beer with Jamie Oliver.
There
I don't
you go.
think, but
Yeah, do it. Hops water. Yeah.
yeah, awesome.
Beautiful.
Good shot. Good answer.
Alright,
good
guys.
answer.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I think we're good. I'm ready to go grab a schnitty.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. I honestly like your clarity and the way you talk is very cool and inspirational. And I love how much you believe in yourself and in OpenTable. And yeah, thank you for sharing and coming
Appreciate
to
it,
Melbourne.
guys. Thanks
Yeah.
very much. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Drew.
Cheers.
Thanks, Drew.
Cheers.
Legend.